Aston Villa, Man City 4-2.
This game always delivers goals.
6 goals in 90 minutes is not a bad little run. City came from behind to take all 3 points at Villa Park thanks to a Viv Miediema double. Who else? Rach, go on. Go and shine a light on Viv and how amazing she's been. Absolutely back to her best and flourishing.
It's amazing to see her playing at that level so soon after coming back from injury. Because understandably players need time when they've been out for a while, and especially given she's been a little bit stop-start as of late. So to see her be the key player for Manchester City in that match, she rightly won player of the match. She was at the heart of everything good that City were doing. Had a number of opportunities to score, in fact, probably could have scored more, and I'm sure she'll be telling herself that. But, she was regularly in good positions for City, getting herself in the right positions. It's just, I think sometimes they struggle to find her. But yeah, I just thought, superb performance. Great first goal, but if we pass the ball to Viv Miediema in the box. You know that saying, feed the goat?
Yeah.
Wrong goat to feed.
100%.
And the second one, I just thought, I know she doesn't score. There's been criticism of her in the past because her goals haven't been great enough.
Let me find them.
Honestly, but she has scored some iconic goals, and I do think that one from outside the box, the whip on it, the swerve on it, was unbelievable. And I was watching that from behind. I was obviously down the other end, as I so often am for the good goals. But it meant I could kind of see the whip on that shot, and I thought it was going wide.
Do all the other photographers look at where you're sitting and then say, "I'll go opposite"?
Yeah.
That's what
generally
happens. Yeah. I thought as much.
Yeah.
I just looked like she was enjoying it so much. But that first goal especially, I was like, how are you allowing her that much time and space? Why are you not picking, even if you are playing out, why are you not defending her being there in the first place? I cannot. Do
you know what my excuse for them was? The seats in Villa Park are light blue and then that kind of wine Aston Villa colour, and honest to God, there were times where because half the stadium was empty, they were just blending into the background. I was like, maybe they thought she was a seat, maybe they just thought she was a space.
That's what she was.
Fed her the ball. I was like, oh no, shit, that's Viv Miediema.
Oh my God. Well, I hadn't pitched up on that, to be fair, but she had an absolute worldie of a game. So good to see her back in flying form. She has now scored 4 goals in 3 games across all competitions since returning from her knee injury. Also super impressive. Mary Fowler's goal contributions have been incredible. She's now scored 3 goals and made 3 assists in her last 4 WSL games. When Viv came off, obviously goated for 77 minutes, Bunny Shaw stepped in as her replacement, making her return from injury. And Caroline and Viv Miediema also came on to make their debut. Do City look like they've kind of found themselves in terms of the squad depth that they now have? Do you think the signings that they've made are enough that we kind of feel like actually City have kind of, going from the Jill Ward era when they just made one signing over summer and everyone was like, well where's everyone else? Where's everyone else? And now it feels like they're doing quite a lot of business.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little bit of depth back, which is good. I wouldn't mind seeing them bring in another defender just to kind of stack it a little bit. But I think players as well will need to be, like Bunny Shaw, will need to be reintroduced gradually. They're not going to be able to necessarily come back and hit the ground running immediately. But I think what's good as well for City is that they have players with versatility. Yeah, so in the likes of Miediema and Park, that will help them spread the load a little bit as well, because in some areas they've got a few players where you're like, well, how are they going to fit in? But actually in those areas, a number of those players are versatile. So that will help spread the load and help them feel like they have that little bit more depth as well. You've got Kanak in now in defence, who's been put straight in, understandably. But with Greenwood injured and Kennedy gone, I just think one more wouldn't be a bad shout.
And then Chloe Kelly, maybe possibly.
Chloe Kelly, I don't know, just hanging out. They don't even bring her to the matches anymore.
Yeah, it does feel a bit sus, doesn't it? She's gone, surely. Surely she's gone.
They just keep saying, well, we don't know. She's just who? What?
Just chilling this weekend, actually. Yeah.
Viv's back. See Bunny?
Right.
What? Look over there.
City have climbed back up to 3rd, 1 point clear of Arsenal, who they host this weekend, which will be an absolutely spicy fixture. Let's talk a little bit about Villa. We've got to pay them their dues, caused trouble for City's defence very early on, and also started the second half strong as well and equalised within a minute of the restart. Do we think this is a positive sign that Villa are finding their confidence a bit? Because the first goal, you've got to give, Christ, what a goal. Come on, Grant, come on.
Unreal. I was very excited by her in the first game when they played Chelsea, at the beginning of the season. And I remember thinking, okay, she was a good signing. She looks exciting. So delighted for her to get that goal. And the way she got it, the kind of the turnover of the ball out to her, the speed that she got up the pitch and kind of brushed off the defender.
It was
finish.
Like just taking on the player, like player after player. I just thought, wow, like, and the tenacity. And the best thing about that finish is that you thought she was going to like strike it across goal, strike it across the goalkeeper's body, and then to launch it into the top corner on that is completely like you just wouldn't be anticipating that at all. Yeah, unstoppable.
I think for me, yes, I was very impressed by Villa. I do think City's defence looked a little bit shaky at times.
Agreed.
And a more clinical team, I think, would punish them. They just sometimes make things more difficult for themselves than they need to. Sometimes decision making, that is kind of the thing that kind of kills them a little bit, passing out from the back. And actually, put my hands up. I was going to bemoan Fowler's decision making during the game. I was about to text Sophie and be like, she's getting into good positions, but the final ball, and then she scored that, and I was like, well, never mind. She's proved me wrong. But
I love that you text Soph like mid-game.
Oh, yeah.
This is what they need to do. This is what they need to do. Feed the message back to Gareth. Feed the message back to Gareth.
A stream of consciousness for me, and she just mutes me, I think. So
yeah, I was going to say, did you get responses back?
Very rarely.
Right. She messages me.
But yeah, you guys have the chat. Sophie just mutes me. She's like, oh, shut up. Take the photos, Rachel. That's why you keep missing the goals.
Working together, living together. It must take its toll on Soph.
No, I was going to praise Villa. I think they started really well. They pressed high. They pressed with good intensity in the beginning. I think they struggled to maintain that throughout the game, which is understandable. And I do think, like City, sometimes it is their decision making, especially around the back, that can cause them problems. And just like those moments of when to press, when to hold off, like they know they can. It's very difficult to press with that kind of intensity for 90 minutes. But then to manage the game better sometimes, I think, is where they maybe struggle a little bit. So, and yeah, I guess being clinical, because they did have opportunities to get more. But I do think they raise their level when they play City as well. 100%. Just because they're like, we've done it before, we can do it again.
It was that like old Aston Villa like disruption kind of like mentality coming back, and I rated it. Like it just felt like they thought they were actually going to win it at points, and I absolutely loved that. Like they brought the game to City. I don't think City initially knew what the hell was going on. I think they weren't expecting that kind of level of tenacity going forwards, and Grant kicked that off, and I rate it.
Do you reckon for a City, Villa feels like a little bit of a bogey team just because they know?
100. You could sense it in City, like they looked nervous, and on paper they shouldn't be nervous about an Aston Villa. Really?
There were fans chanting in the ground, you lost the league at Villa Park to Man City as well, which I thought was a bit savage.
That's horrible.
So they must be like, I fucking hate coming here. I hate it.
It is horrible. This was Sean Goater's fifth and final game in charge. Villa's got 3 wins under Goater, and he said he wanted the job full time. But up steps Natalia Arroyo, taking the reins for the first time against Chelsea this weekend. She joins from Real Sociedad.
Christ, against Chelsea, like, welcome.
That's
welcome
a
to the
baptism
WSL.
of fire, isn't it just? But then the new manager bounce.
Well, they'd be like, we only lost 1-0 last time, and we could have scored a goal at the death with our goalkeeper. So we just need to match or beat that. Like,
I think it's perfect timing to come in. Like as a manager, no one's expecting you necessarily to win that game. So you're not thinking, okay, well, it's like we're playing Palace, and then you like lose against Palace. Everyone's like, who the hell brought her in?
But what you don't want is to be battered.
No. But it's been a very promising weekend for them. This is how they're competing against the top 4 now. This is amazing.
Tighten up at the back, guys. Don't pass the ball to Myra Ramirez, etc.
Get it to Grant.
Just just decision making. Just have a little, come on. Tighten it up.
I'm seriously very, very interested. And also having a new female manager in the WSL is always a good thing. And
Absolutely.
I really rate that. There's a lot of boss female managers in the WSL at the moment.
And around the world.
And around the world, obviously.
Look
but
at them.
We've needed some more in the WSL for a while.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Villa have dropped to 9th, 5 points ahead of bottom side Crystal Palace. Come on, Palace. Come on. Come on. I really thought it was like, I really thought they just weren't going to be the team that could be relegated. I thought there was something about them that I was like, no, do not be that team. It is very much looking like that. Getting back to Villa though, how can Arroyo turn things around in the second half of the season? Are we expecting a turnaround? Can a manager do that much in such a short space of time, having only been she's got 4 months really to kind of bed in and get them to a different space and integrate new players and kind of set up a new style of play? Like if she wanted to do that, I mean, it's a lot to ask for 4 months.
And I think, they'll want to be continuing to play this style of football, better football. You know, if they played like that against some of the teams in and around them, you'd expect them to pick up points. The only challenge is they're in 9th on 10 points. Tottenham are in 6th on 17. So they're 7 points off that half of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And that's difficult. So, you know, if they can get themselves up to mid-table.
Solid.
Because I think it is just difficult to bridge a gap of that many points for a manager. So I feel like, maybe coming in the way she is, starting off with Chelsea and not, you know, I'd like to think they're not going to get dragged into a relegation battle. So it gives her time to find her feet and figure things out and get used to the WSL. So she'll have played almost every team by the time she's done, I think.
Cheeky little phone call to Carla Ward. What's the situation like? How did you do it? Like, well, maybe not the end, but like, how did you start?
Or the beginning of that season. That first one, that was great. Yeah.
That season that you kind of like in and around 4th spot. Yeah. How did you do that season? Villa also said farewell to Kenza Dali at the weekend, who is headed for San Diego Wave. Obviously, she's come over to fill a massive gap in the squad, which
slightly different position.
Yeah, slightly different position, but you know,
sad to see her go.
Position nonetheless.
I did like Kenza Dali. Very nice person to interview. Very nice player. I don't feel like we got the best out of her in the last this season. She didn't get as much game time as she probably deserved, but she will forever be known for her Daily Dali pairing of that season and how efficient the two of them were in terms of linking up together and scoring goals and stuff. So she will be missed, and I do think Villa will miss her.